the free agent class of 2021.
George Springer, best leadoff man in the game.
Long gone by Ozuna.
Trevor Bauer, kind of that dark horse, that ace in your back pocket.
DJ, who's been the best player all year.
By far, to me, the last 2 years, the best catcher in baseball.
With all these guys out there, we have our little device. We've got our free agent slot machine.
Yeah, we do. It is January. We better get to work, gentlemen. I'm talking to you because there's a mountain of free agents that need new homes. It means one thing. Time for the free agent slot machine. We will roll it and we will get to work. Keith is going to help us out. And our first free agent is one of the big ticket free agents remaining on the board.
A 3-run rocket off the bat of JT Realmuto.
Starting with the big hitters, JT Realmuto looking for a record contract, indeed, for catchers in terms of AAV. Harold, you seem to want to go first. The floor is yours.
Well, every year everybody says, oh, the luxury tax of the Yankees, they're not going to spend any money. Yet they go get Chapman when he's out there. They get Stanton in the big trade from Miami. Last year they signed Garrett Cole. He's going to be a Yankee. I think the Yankees, he's a perfect fit. They've been struggling behind the plate trying to figure this whole Sanchez thing out. Now you know what Sanchez's price is. If you're another team inquiring about him, you know what you're going to pay this year. I think they trade him. I think they get Realmuto and say it's time to move on. Just a thought.
Yeah, I'll go with the Phillies and keep him in Philadelphia. You've got an owner who obviously wants him there. You've got the highest paid player on the team who's going to have another decade there that's publicly expressed his interest in bringing him back. And most importantly, you've got a GM in Dave Dombrowski who has a history of handing out big contracts. So obviously he could help a lot of teams around the league, but I'll say he ends up back in Philadelphia.
At risk of being boring, I will agree with Keith and cite the exact same rationale. I think he ends up back in Philadelphia. I think that their relative inactivity in this market has been linked directly to trying to cobble together as many dollars as they can to keep JT a Philly. But if he goes to the Yankees, Harold, I will give you credit because that is a super hot take on a Thursday.
And he said it just across the board. He's going to the Yankees. Like, there's just no question. There's conflicting reports, by the way, of offers made and not made by Philly, but we will know soon. All right, we're 1 for 1. We do say so ourselves. Spin the free agent slot machine and make some deals. Who is up next on the board?
I would have said Realmuto to the Mets before McCann.
Got him.
Jake Odorizzi, 4 starts last season, All-Star in 2019. Who could use his services, H?
Angels. Every time there's a starting pitcher out there, or pitching period, whether it's Bauer or in this case Odorizzi, the Angels have to land pitching. And I just think this guy's a perfect fit for them. Keith, who you got, big fella?
Yeah, there's a couple teams that we talk about all the time, Harold. You mentioned one of them, the Angels, the other one being the Red Sox that have such an obvious need for starting pitching. You could send him to LA, like you mentioned, a little reunion with Joe Madden from his days in Tampa, but I'm going to say Boston. He's not going to break the bank, and there's been a little smoke there with some reports that the Red Sox are interested, so I'll say Odorizzi up to Boston. How about you, Matt?
Those are kind of like the only two options to choose from in this discussion for me, and I'm going to side with Harold on the Angels. And I'll take it one step further. You mentioned Bauer. I mean, they need both of them. It's not just Jake Odorizzi that's going to get the Angels into the postseason. It's got to be Odorizzi plus, and maybe Odorizzi plus. But it starts with one, and Jake Odorizzi is a must-add for the Angels.
I'm listening to you guys and remembering when a few years back we decided to make our own agency. How's that going? We're making up for lost time, though, I guess now. Another spin?
I was writing an email right now, Lauren, inviting people to join our agency. Right during the commercial, I was inviting some players.
What's our agency name?
Haven't thought of that yet.
Brad Hand, who led baseball with 16 saves, still non-tendered by the Indians. Harold, where's he pitching next year?
Well, let me lend a hand here, Matt.
Boy.
I'm sending him to the Angels. Look, if they're gonna contend, I am all in pushing all the chips to the middle of the table. You have to get Mike Trout in the postseason, and it's time to invest in it around him. I think Brad Hand, Odorizzi, Trevor Bauer, it's time to make that move. They should have did it last year with the pitching. I think they do it this year.
Well, my first thought, guys, was
you're up next, buddy.
No problem. My first thought was the White Sox, but you look a little closer. They've got a lot of left-handers down in that bullpen, so I'll pivot to the Mets, who are completely right-handed and obviously ready to spend some money. They already added Trevor May on the right side. Go get Brad Hand from the left side, put him in the ninth inning. How about you, Matt?
All right, look at you.
Mets are an excellent call. Excellent call based on the handedness of the bullpen. I'll send Brad Hand to the Oakland A's, who are looking to replace Liam Hendriks with the closer. And the way they like to kind of mix and match closer candidates, and I know they've got Jake Diekman there and a lot of guys that could fill that, late, close, high leverage situation. Why not add another? And Hand is going to come cheaper than Hendriks too, so send him to the swinging A's.
Whenever I think of Brad Hand, I think of an interview he did on Central 2 years ago where he told us he puts his socks on before his pants. Think about that. It's weird. Time for one more free agent to find a new home. We will spin don't tell me you do that.
Yeah, why is that weird? I'd stay pantless as long as possible.
Way gone for Kike Hernandez.
Oh, Kike Hernandez, as versatile as it gets, has played everywhere in his major league career except catcher. Harold, we're already off the rails. Where does Kike play in 2021?
I think it goes back to the Dodgers. It only makes sense to keep this whole machine moving forward. I just think they play such a unique brand and they expect so much for guys to come off the bench and be productive. It's not easy to do. You got to know your role. And I think Kike is the perfect guy you bring back to keep this whole thing moving forward for the Dodgers. He's really the glue to this thing. Being able to platoon as much as they do. So I'm going Kike back to the Dodgers. Keith, where you got him going?
I'm going to send another player up to Boston. We've heard some rumors about Kike and the Red Sox recently, too. Second base, we talked about it the other day. It's been a revolving door since Pedroia was last healthy, so he can play there, obviously move all over the field. And the manager, Alex Cora, history there, both from Puerto Rico. 2017 WBC, he played under the general manager, Alex Cora, so we'll send him up to Boston. How about you, Matt?
Keith always has a good bit of intel for his choices. Mine isn't quite as insightful, but I want to make a market for Kike because I like him and I like him as a player a lot too. Why not the Texas Rangers, right? They've got new ballpark money. They've got Arlington Live money, we're led to believe, at least they should. And if they're mixing up that infield and they're taking Elvis and he's going to be a super sub everywhere, and I don't know what Rougned Odor's long-term status is at second base, why not put another candidate in there to play all around the field? And I think with a team like the Rangers, Kike could get 500, 600-ish plate appearances this year.
I love when we disagree. That was a good conversation. He and his wife expecting their first child, so perhaps a lot of change on the way for Kike Hernandez. I'm being told we have one more spin. What could go wrong? It's a bonus spin, if you will. Let's spin the free agent slot machine one more time.
No!
4 to 67. 68.
Mad
Big
Dog
fan.
Gucci Russo,
Like the
in his
Beatles.
element. We're not sure what goes on in his studio, but this was live footage from yesterday. Matthew Edward, your thoughts?
First of all, my thoughts are that that piece of video just confirmed the fact that he has no rhythm, because I'm not sure what song he was bouncing around to. My second thought is his studio looks like it's a lot more fun than ours, and that's not fair.
It's not fair. You're right.
That was yesterday.
Lauren, can I read you a text that I just got?
Oh boy, yeah.
This is from a certain major league manager. Absolutely put socks on before pants. In fact,
pantless?
pants first is weird. So says this text.
No. Tell us who your
So
sources
there.
are. Spill the beans.
Rhymes
managers
with
texted-
Sharon. Rhymes with Sharon Moon.